My first semester in college, I immediately embarrassed myself by not realizing my dress was up from behind the whole trip to campus. Hey y'all, call me Mix. Welcome back to the channel. Make sure to get yourself a sweet tea and grab your sketchbook and enjoy the video. I started art young. I think I was 9 years old when I picked up a pencil and started drawing. I used to make a lot of comics when I was a kid. I'd spent my days at school just drawing comics one after another. Any homework, classwork, or any blank piece of paper was a victim to my creativity. I knew then I wanted to grow up as an artist, but as I grew up, I stopped making comics and eventually just started doing single drawings. They weren't good by all means, but you know, for my age, it's okay. Once I finished up high school and I finished my summer art program, I landed in my local community college. I went in with a studio arts major. A friend of mine had a similar major, along with their friend that eventually became my friend. We all had the same class together. I started about 2 weeks late though. My first day in this class, I walked in, sat next to my friend Shay, and the teacher started to explain how the class worked and the rules he had in place. Nothing eventful really happened other than the introduction for me. When I got back home that day, I actually read through the syllabus because I didn't really pay attention to him in the class. If you're starting any college, please read that syllabus. It's like a warning for what you'll have to deal with in the next coming month. His rules were pretty fair until I saw no phones in class, no leaving class early, no excuses for missing class, even if you have no transportation. What? Okay, so when you're in college, the majority of teachers don't really care if you're on your phone, or if you leave early, or if you don't want to come to class for whatever reason. They do this thing where they're like, well, none of it's my business, and move on. But I could already tell that he was one of those teachers who the high school teachers warned us about. In high school, they're not gonna be so easy on you guys. Okay, well, 4 out of the 5 professors don't really care, Miss B. I thought to myself, I'm gonna use my phone whenever I want. What if my mama calls me to say she stepped on a crack and she broke her back? What if I need to leave class early because my stomach decides to betray me mid-class? And for whatever reason, I don't have a way to get there. How is that my fault? If the bus I took broke down, what do you expect? You want me to fly? So already, I was like, am I with a college professor or with the freaking high school teacher in disguise? Honestly, he had this really awkward vibe to him, but nothing felt as uncomfortable as being around Jeffrey. Yes, I'm calling him Jeffrey. I got a bone to pick with this guy. I found this dude very annoying in class. I already didn't like this teacher, but I also dislike students who interrupt the class. Dude, we're not in high school anymore. We're in college now. That wasn't funny back then, and it's not funny now. Jeff, I changed his name to Jeff, would talk during lectures a lot. Oftentimes, he would talk over the teacher, like almost trying to complete a sentence for him. So one of the things we'll be learning today in class is the rule of thirds. Shut up, bro. Another thing he did was make a rude comment about someone else's artwork. Meanwhile, he had probably the worst skill in class. Listen, normally I like to be supportive for smaller artists and beginner artists because there was a point I was like that too. But this guy didn't even try. He would often do his projects last minute in class. Art is fun. Art is whatever you want it to be. But if you're in an art major, an art class, and if you don't put any effort to anything because you're too busy playing games on your phone, you constantly interrupt the class because you think you know what you're talking about, I'm gonna say you're one to talk with art and laziness like that. We had a critique one day where everyone shows off their projects. The class guesses what it's about, and the student explains what their project piece actually is. A student showed their work, and I remember really enjoying it. Afterwards, my friend Kay showed their piece, and it was like looking at angelic art itself. As my friend's artwork was being commented on by the other students, Jeff said, "This artwork looks very professionally made. In comparison to the other one, it didn't look as good." What is that supposed to mean? The whole class felt that comment was backhanded. I know because during break, we grouped up and I asked, did y'all hear what Jeffrey said? Dude, oh my gosh. That was like so rude. We asked the student how they felt and they agreed the comment felt a little off. We all had a little laugh after talking about it and then just went back to class. Yeah, let's just walk around him. And once everyone has gone through the pieces, I thought to myself, wait a minute, he didn't show his. Oh my gosh, he didn't even make one. It wasn't too long until the teacher also had enough of him. Again, he was talking over the teacher often. Then one day the teacher stopped mid-sentence and said, "Can you stop? Like stop talking from now on." That class was so awkward afterwards. I didn't expect the teacher to actually say that in front of everyone. Normally they kind of just pull them aside, but no, he was not having it. I know bro was embarrassed after that because he never spoke in class ever again unless it was necessary. Class was slightly better. The only thing I hated was how much stuff I had to carry to class every lecture. This class was actually a gouache painting class. You know those aesthetic, pretty, satisfying painting videos you might see on Instagram? Yeah, that. I like doing it on my own, but when I was limited to what I can create, it wasn't as easy as I was hoping. I prefer to make art on OC, so I was very much out of my comfort zone in this class. I ordered a huge gouache paint set for it. I also had my brushes, my sketchbook, my folders, and my notebooks that I had to fit all into my tiny bag. Meanwhile, I had to carry this big gouache paint set. So imagine how awkward I felt when I had to go on a public bus, hold this stupid thing while people came on. I didn't have my own car, there was no car available at home for me to borrow, and I didn't have money to get my own car at the time as, you know, a beginner broke college student who hasn't had their first job at this point. I had to take the bus there and back. Whenever we had to carry extra supplies, my tiny bag did not have any room to hold it, so I had to carry that too, which I hated because I didn't like showing anyone outside my circles my shitty artwork. I didn't like struggling out of my comfort zone and having all these eyes on me. I was surrounded by other artists, yet I felt so disconnected from them. The feeling followed me to my first semester. I felt like my artwork wasn't good enough even though I had the support from my friends. I questioned myself if this was the right thing for me. Maybe I should put the brush down, take a break from art. Maybe it was time to grow up and actually look into a common career. Nah, I left that semester. I couldn't do it, guys. It's funny to look back on that class made me think nope and dip from the major. I know that I want to do something with my art, but I kind of just have to keep looking. I do have a goal where I want to start an art business one day, but I also have another goal that I've dreamed of since I was a kid. I'm still nervous about my future career in art, but I want to start going down the path where one day I can make a life for myself and hopefully inspire other artists, like how I was inspired by my favorite creators growing up. Make sure to like, subscribe, and smack that bell button to get notifications for any new videos. Also, follow me on my other socials, and maybe go on my Ko-Fi for any additional support. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Thanks for watching. See ya!